What is going on, boys and girls? It's me, Ben DPB, with episode 21. Yes, 21 of my Ben Meets series. And today, I've got a returning guest. It's my, I wouldn't say good friend, but more of an associate. It's a Northman.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
It's Paul. How are you, my friend?
What is going on, guys? Sid nailed it. How's it going, Benji?
I'm good, my friend. How are you, dude? You alright?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm rolling on, waiting for FM18.
I just want to find out when the beta's coming. That's all. I just want to find out when the beta's coming. I'm assuming you pre-ordered the game already, have you not? Or
I've not.
you've not pre-ordered it, dude? What about the offer?
Yeah, but what I want to say is, which I think is pretty much obvious for the previous years, is as a fan side owner, I got given a free copy,
Ah, right.
and from what I understand, I'm getting one again this year, which is very nice of Sports Interactive. So I
Well,
want to
when I
thank
run
them
a
for that.
podcast, do I get a free copy as well?
And you see, my fan side was good.
Oh, well
I think
played,
that's the
sir.
difference.
Well played.
In terms of beta release, obviously we look on the 27th of October, but I want to remind people that Miles dropped it on the Wednesday last year, which would be the
Dropped it early,
25th.
Yeah, he dropped it early.
Yeah,
March.
because I remember thinking, shit, I'm still at work. So if he does that again, that will really piss me off.
Miles does like to throw the odd surprises. I wouldn't be surprised if he drops it early. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, there's no official announcement yet when the beta's definitely coming out, so we just know it tends to be 2 weeks before release. So
Well, we know that obviously Sports Interactive listen to Ben Meat because, I mean,
course.
hello. So
Who
if you
doesn't?
are listening, I work late on a Thursday, so Friday is probably best. About midnight,
We know
because
that
I
as well,
mean,
because I know you tweeted the sports director today saying don't drop the video at certain times. It's going out with my son, and what they do, they drop the video when you
that
both
was
get your
today.
son
I had to delay the walk.
there. Father of the
Just
year. Father of the
thoughtless,
year.
isn't it? I mean, I can't believe they did that to us. My kids are there, dressed, shoes on, waterproofs, ready to go out up in the mountains. I'm like, sit back down. The video's dropped.
So before we jump into today's video, if you want to give yourself a shout out of your social media, YouTube, Twitch, and any other upcoming saves or plans you've got, that'd be great.
Yeah, make sure you check me out on Twitter at @TN_the Northman. On YouTube, the Northman Home, youtube.com/c/the Northman Home. I will be writing on Passion 4 FM this year, very large football manager website. So looking forward to doing that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the places to find me.
What's your plans for the blogging? What do you plan on writing about?
Just going to be guides on stuff, like guides on how to scout, guides on how to maybe set up training best, or just pretty much the basics of guides to help people settle into the new game with my vast experience.
It should be interesting. I know you're quite harsh when it comes to bloggers. I've heard you before talk about your opinion.
Well, I mean, if you think that I run FM Central's fan site for like two and a half years, I did it religiously, and I mean, we smashed through 1 million views on it, and we were I would say we were successful very quickly in terms of us going from nothing to jumping in there and mixing it with some of the bigger boys. So I mean, I've got some experience on the blogging side, so I'm not just a YouTuber who complains of bloggers. I just think a lot of the bloggers at the minute are very boring, and they all do the same thing, but so do us lot on YouTube. So pretty much the same, isn't it?
So you think you could break the mold then and become like a big name in the blogging industry?
Nah, man, I like writing, I like blogging as well as doing my YouTube stuff, and sometimes I just get the spark in my head that I want to write about something. So now I have a platform to do it again, which is nice.
So what we're going to do, we're going to dive into it straight away. There's a bit to talk about. I don't want to focus too much on FM18 as popular it is. I'm still an FM17 fan. We're going to dive into it straight away. And the first was dynamics. Dynamics this year seems to be a massive, massive part of the game. You know, we've seen it spoken about by Miles for many weeks now. We've seen it spoken about on the first video, the second video to drop today. And obviously, as a real-life manager yourself, you know, it is dynamics as important as we're being made to believe it's going to be in this year's game. And also, how much you're looking forward to dynamics in this year's FM.
I think Dynamics looks fantastic. Obviously, as we record this, the video dropped maybe hours ago. And it was nice to see more information on it, because when we saw it in the initial features release, people were thinking, what's it going to be? Is it a FIFA manager rip, which is just pretty pointless. But it looks like it's very detailed in the game. I mean, morale is going to play such a big part now. Player power it's so important in football now. I mean, players have WhatsApp groups, players have Facebook groups, players communicate with each other in ways where you wouldn't believe. So they always talk, and you drop one player, he might be pissed off, and his friend might be the captain of the club. So he comes to you and says, "Why is this guy not in the match squad?" And then it can cause friction. So you've always got to make sure you're communicating well. If I ever drop a player from my starting 16 who was in the week before, I'll always make sure he's contacted before I release the team so he knows why, to stop that kind of interaction between them not behind my back, but, on their own, communicating, saying, "Oh, I've been dropped and I don't know why." At least they all know what's going on, because it will happen. I think Football Manager had to implement this in the FM18 because it's such an important part of world football now.
I've also heard before in real life where players are forced managers out of the club. We've heard it at Manchester United, reported Rio Ferdinand and others reportedly, allegedly, as they say, went to the owners, spoke about their dislike for the manager and his training tactics. We heard about it at Man City with Mancini when he was there. If the dynamics are this important in the game, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of scenario where players banded together and do something to force a manager out of the club. I mean, to me, as a manager who's going to be in the game, I would love the prospect of that, just to have the players rally against you, shall we say, or just see someone playing that game. I've not had it before for a couple of years because I'm pretty awesome at the game.
Obviously.
Apart from when I stop and reload it, as you do, you can save, reload.
That's it.
But if that's how it's going to be, I would love to see something happen with the dynamics where we do see the players band together to go against the manager, because it looks to me like it's going to be a massive part game. For the first thing they're going to drop, I mean, they haven't eased this in over a period of time. They've dropped this all in 1 year. Now I would expect them to gradually over a couple of years to increases, whereas they just dropped it in straight away. So although I'm really looking forward to it, I'm also a little bit apprehensive because it's change. It's something new. I was excited about the social media when it first came out, and then that all went tits up. That was absolutely awful. So I'm hoping it doesn't go anywhere near the way the social media did for FM17. I mean, I'm guessing you wasn't a fan of social media at all?
I didn't mind it.
Do you have any apprehensions about your dynamics or?
Well, I mean, in terms of social media, it was pretty pointless. I mean, it had no effect on anything. And I think that's one of the downsides to it. So I do open FM18, it does have an impact. For example, fans on the social media page, if they are complaining about a signing, maybe that will then go over into the players who then, in their social groups, some of them social groups become then upset about a new signing as well because the fans are upset. So I think that would be a nice little link there. In terms of just dumping this dynamics on us, I would say it's been building up, because if you look at previous years, you've had player interaction about complaining about game time. Players come to you if they're unhappy with the treatment of another player. So it's all been in there. It just looks like they've brought it forward and kind of advanced it. Now, I'm excited by it. I mean, a couple of things that really have stood out to me is the fact that they said the match cohesion and the understanding on the pitch. If you have a team who's been together for a long time, they obviously have very high match cohesion, which means when they go on the pitch, they know where everybody is going to be. They know what you're going to be doing. And there was a mention on the video, I don't know if you picked it up, where they said that your vision stats and stuff might go up.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that the stats are so changeable depending on how settled your team is. So, I mean, if you make 10 changes, for example, new players coming into the club, the vision stats of some of your creative players might go right the way down for a few months because he doesn't know who they are. I think that's an unbelievable feature. And I think it's as you say, if they've just dumped it in and the feature has issues, we could be screwed. If the features comes in, it's working beautifully, then this is going to be the game changer, in my opinion, especially for us making YouTube content. It's going to just be, the stories are going to be unbelievable. I mean, we're going to be in cloud nine. I mean, bring back StatApp. I mean, God, imagine the stories he'd be able to make up with this.
Now, for someone like yourself who likes to manage in non-league football and work the non-league to legend, shall we say, or the journeyman save that you started many moons ago, for someone like yourself who has to make a lot of transfer business over the summer due to contracts expiring,
Disagree.
okay, as other people who tend to play the game that way, then do you think this could be a real game changer for them, making the game a lot more difficult? Because when you work in non-league football, and like I've done in the past in the game, contracts expire. You're on non-contracts as well, so you have to bring in new players every other bloody transfer window. Could that be something that really affects the flow of the game? Do you think?
I mean, one of the things a lot of my followers over the years have complained about is my lack of transfer activity at times. The faith I have in some of my players, which
Especially the youth.
some previous series have definitely shown when people have recommended me getting rid of people, and 600 appearances later they still in my first team, and we're still in the same division. So in terms of making many signings, that's not something I would do myself. If I do make up to 10 signings, maybe 6 or 7 of them will be going into the youth team, not into the first team, so they won't really affect the match cohesion or the dressing room so much. In terms of other players, as you say, many people do like to maybe have a conveyor belt of transfer.
I'm one of those.
Transfers.
I love a transfer, so I'm one of those.
I think what it's going to do is make you put more effort in. You are going to have to find players whose personalities match more, players who have good adaptability, players who have maybe good work rate, good teamwork. I would assume people coming into a club, if they have good teamwork, will settle a lot quicker, and they will maybe slot into social groups a lot easier. So I mean, it's all speculation at the minute. I mean, we can discuss as much as we can, but at the end of the day, we need more videos, Ben.
I mean, in the screenshot we saw today as well, we saw on the sidebar a couple of things that we haven't seen before. One being dynamics. Another one that I'm actually looking forward to is the medical centre. Now, it may sound a little bit weird, the medical centre, but last year, the introduction of the data analyst, which flopped, and also the sports science, which also flopped. But we hear this year they're going to be a big part of the game. I mean, again, it's just purely speculation, but the fact the medical centre has got its own page now suggests me that's also going to be another big part of the game they're going to push. The head of sports science, the sports scientist. I mean, what do you think they could bring to the game to actually make the medical centre an important part of the game?
Well, I think a lot of things need to improve in terms of injuries. At the minute, you're very limited in terms of if you give someone an injection or you tell them to play through the pain type thing, then they can do one game, then they're out for twice as long, that type of thing. I'd like to see. I don't really know what I would like to see. I just would like to see a bit more depth in terms of find out how the injuries have improved. I know one of the graphics we saw was you can now see a full body.
Yeah.
You can now see more details of how likely the player is to get injured. So I guess that is what I kind of want, is a bit more detail so you kind of know why he's getting injuries or how often he's going to get injuries or why he's going to get injuries. I mean, if this guy turns up and his leg is orange because he's constantly getting injuries on it, not to sign that player type thing. I think it's just the graphical side of it. Seeing it with your eyes kind of will help you make the decision instead of a little bit of text saying this guy maybe might get injured, possibly, potentially.
In terms of graphics, I'm going to go back in a little bit again. The dynamics, you saw that when you had the long list of dynamics, the training, the facilities, all that sort of bits and pieces where the players were happy, content, not happy with. So the graphics this year are going to be a bigger part than ever before. And I think the medical centre could be a big part of the game. What's going to happen, I don't quite know. I'm quite interested to hear from you as a real-life manager when it comes to a player. I know you don't quite manage in the Premier League, no offence, but in terms of when you get an injured player, how does that work for you? When you get injured player, do you have a physio? Do you have a hospital, a doctor? What do you have?
We've got a club doctor who we normally will speak and assess what's happened with the doctor, and he will give a recommendation. We've had a player over the summer who's a prime example. He picked up an ankle injury in our final game before the summer break. So he had a couple of weeks off before we had to return back to training anyway. And he returned back to training with still a swollen ankle. He told me he could play. I thought he looked okay when he was warming up, but asked our doctor to come down, looked at him. Our doctor assessed him and said he needed another 2 or 3 weeks rest because he still had swelling around the ankle. So I mean, for myself, it's very basic in terms of if my doctor tells me he can't play, then I don't play him. We don't do this, well, play through the pain, then you can have a couple of weeks off. It's not worth it at our level. In terms of these players have jobs to go to the next day. I can't play him through the pain and him to go over on the ankle again and not be able to walk to work or whatever the next day. It's just not fair. Yeah. So for myself, it's very basic. My doctor comes, my doctor assesses the players who are carrying injuries, etc. We have a physiotherapy office as well, which it's just a local physio who we can send players to for free. So they assess people if they are coming back from injury as well, which is nice. But yeah, that's about it.
We've also got the new scouter system coming in this year, which from the little tiny snippets we've seen, sounds quite exciting. So for someone like yourself, who does attribute marketing, etc., how excited are you about the prospect of a whole new scouter system? Because I know you play the game the right way. You know, when you're at Darlington, you only sign players in the immediate area because that's what would happen in real life. Are you excited about the new scout system?
I think it looks really interesting. We need more information on this because from what I understood, if I'm sat in my office with my scouts, we basically say we've got a budget of 5,000. All that will cover you to scout this country for 2 months. So go and scout this country, and the 5,000 goes towards the hotel costs, etc. Go out and scout, and we'll see what you come back with.
And what do you think about that? Do you like the idea of that?
I love it because I think you see people. I mean, again, I don't want to just have a dig at people, but you see people who play the low leagues, and they will sing to the days long that they've signed these amazing players and they've gone and done this and gone and done that, and hopefully this will restrict them from making their lives easier in the low leagues and actually have to battle and actually have to sign players from regions where your club can actually only afford to go instead of signing just random people from random places. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to make you have to plan where you want to scout because you might only be able to do one scouting mission a season because you can't physically afford to do more. You can't afford to go and scout this player, go and scout that player, go and scout this team down that part of the country because you've already sent your scout out for the year and you've now got no budget left. So I think it's going to be exciting.
I like the idea of we have to actually manage our team now. It's not going to be clear because this, to me, it never bothered to put scouts. I simply got my director of football or my assistant manager, whoever it was, to manage my scouts and send them out. This year, more than ever, with the introduction of Dynamics, the medical centre, the new scouting system, we're going to have to be actual managers. Now, of course, we can let our directors of football do the work for us, but do you trust your director of football if you're at FC United or if you're at Luton Town to go and sign in the biggest and best players and look after the squad dynamics? Maybe not. If you're at Manchester United and you can afford to have the biggest and best director of football in the world, of course you are. But for someone like myself who likes to play at League 2 level, not quite non-league, but I like to play at the League 2 Conference North, Conference South at the most level, it's going to be an exciting aspect for me. I mean, I don't play Activate Masking like you do because, well, I find it really tedious. I'm just saying it. But
lazy.
I've never said I wasn't. I've never. If you watch my episodes, you know I'm lazy. Do you know what I mean? But I don't quite play Activate Masking. But I do. I do like the idea now of the whole new scouter system, and it's something that I'm going to take a little bit more interest in. I mean, one aspect of the game that I've heard nothing about, which I'm a little bit nervous about, is training. You know, I really hope this year is going to be the year where they really push the training because FM back in the day was a big thing for training. You know, you had your attackers all work together, your midfielders, your defenders, etc. We haven't had that for many, many moves. 99% of players, the ones I spoke to, don't touch training now. It's all assistant manager. Now, are you hoping, or do you think, in fact, that we'll bring anything in regarding training this year? Or will it be another year of let's leave it to our assistant manager to manage it for us?
I don't think training's going to be touched. I think if they'd done training, I think it would have been the main feature because people have been after it for so long. I think they would have been so excited to tell us that they'd actually done something with it.
Agreed.
So the fact that they've not told us anything is slightly concerning. I think we're going to have to be stuck with another year of the most basic crap side of the game, in my opinion. It's just frustrating. I think the training side of Football Manager, it's so basic, it's ridiculous.
My hope, my dream is the final episode of FMTV is going to be the one where they talk about training. Now, I would love to get involved in training if there's any real benefit, but at the moment, I feel there's no benefit to me doing training because my assistant manager can do it all for me, and that's it. But if I can separate my strikers and have my strikers work on their first touch, on their finishing, on their heading, or whatever it may be, as a collective group, rather than going for each individual player and change it myself, it'd be great. It'd be great. So I'm hoping it's going to be, come the last episode, a week or two before the beta, they're going to, as a big reveal, because I think there's going to be something. I don't think that we're just going to have the big reveals done. I think there's going to be some sort of big reveal. Now, we saw the work the space section of the first video where we have the stadium in the background. I don't think that's quite the big reveal, but I think other dynamics there will be some sort of reveal. But what that reveal is, I don't quite know yet. I don't quite know. I'm hoping it is training though.
I just can't see where they're going to put the stadium in. I know this stadium obviously showed up on the video, as you said, alongside Work the Space, but I just don't see it. I just don't see. I mean, what's it going to be for? The only thing I can imagine it for is when they say they're going to expand the stadium and that graphic pops up randomly.
That's what I'm thinking.
But then what's the point of that? I would kind of prefer that stadium to have a couple of different layouts, and before the game, that's just the aerial shot type thing. That would be beautiful.
I'd like to be like back in the day when you played FIFA Manager or LMA Manager. You got involved in building the stadium. Now, I'm not saying I want to build a stadium. I would like to have some sort of say in the stadium layout or how the stands going to look. I'd like to see something this year where we do get involved in some way in regards to the other side of the game, because that does happen in real life. If you're going to build a brand new stadium, I guarantee a Pochettino at some point with the new White Hart Lane that's coming, he may not have been involved in how many seats stadium, but he's probably asked his opinion. So, Poch, what do you think on X, Y, and Z? You know, and I guarantee you, Arsene Wenger was involved in some way with the Emirates. Do you know what I mean? So, it'd be good to see that side of the game come in, but what happens, I don't quite know.
I was going to say it definitely needs fixing. In terms of the stadium, there was a very funny thing in FM16 which happened to me. Was I had a 5,500 stadium, and when I got promoted to League Two, it went down to a 2,500 all-seater. And I was just like, what? You've lit, and they sold 3,000 season tickets. So some of them had to sit outside and watch, and we could never ever make any gate receipts for that whole season because we'd obviously sold out the stadium with season tickets.
Yeah, good point. Actually,
so
tickets can
it just destroyed us financially for about 4 or 5 years before the board went, oh, do you know what? You've had this 2,500 crap stadium for a few years now. We'll expand it. And then they expanded to like 4,000, and you're thinking we're still 1,500 below what we were 6 years ago. So I'm hoping them little things get improved for this Football Manager.
Now, in today's video, we also saw Joe Tomlinson, who presented a video.
Who is that guy, by the way?
I believe he's another YouTuber. I don't believe he's a Football Manager YouTuber, but looking at his Twitter page, he is a YouTuber of some sorts.
They've got a thing about bringing in FIFA YouTubers, haven't they?
And, you know, excuse me, coughing. Let me start again. Now, it would have been nice. I'm not saying that, no offence to Joe, you did a great job, Jay, if you listen, which you're not, but if you are listening, you did a great job. It'd be nice to have seen somebody from the community. It could even be a blogger, somebody get on there and talk about the game. Now, we could have had a Lelujo, a Loki Doki, a Benji, or whoever it may be, somebody on there. Because we saw in the previous video, we had a snippet of Work the Space. We also had the guy who we found out is a new social media manager who in other people's words, recorded it on a potato. So
it's true.
It would have been nice to, in my opinion, to have seen somebody from the actual community be involved somewhere to boost the game up. Because in FIFA, the YouTubers are involved massively. Look at Spencer. Spencer FC is regularly out there when the new games come out, doing promotions for the new game for EA. Now, we've heard many times the reason why we don't because we all play with graphics. And I know for a fact that myself, Loki, Doki, and others, if there was a possibility of us being promoted by the game, would 100% drop the real name fixes, would drop the face packs, would drop the logo packs, etc. What do you think? Would you like to see somebody else involved in the video? Or were you quite happy with the good job that Mr. Tomlinson did on his own?
Well, I mean, I have no idea who the guy is. He didn't do a bad job, so I'm not going to slate him. And the first video, I have no idea how desperately rushed it was, but to get a YouTuber who does he have some like 250,000 on his main channel?
He's predominantly a FIFA YouTuber. He has got a second channel who plays Football Manager.
So he does play Football Manager, so okay, and he is now employed as part of the Football Manager team. So fair play to him. But what I don't understand is why they did a Skype call using potatoes to film him.
It seemed more like an MSN web call.
It just seems like they rushed it so much instead of either getting him down there or getting him to record his visuals himself and sending it down. It just looks so pathetically crap. And again, in video one, they showed the worst video image quality ever. I mean, again, recorded on a PC monitor from the 90s. Second video, I mean, I didn't mind it. That guy, no idea who he was, as you say. If you say he's a YouTuber, then all right. If he plays Football Manager, then okay. But as you say, I mean, one of the biggest people in the community maybe should have been on it, in my opinion. If you are going for YouTubers, go for a predominant FM YouTuber. Someone like Dr. Benji or somebody. I mean, as you say, get a blogger on even. I mean, granted, they probably would have complained about doing it, but you could get them on. I mean, they'd probably suck that they couldn't write what they wanted to say, but you're never going to make them happy, are you? Bloody bloggers. They complain more than us. If you're listening, know that you're going to complain back to me about me saying this, which will just prove my point. You are miserable bastards.
I do love a poor rant.
What's funny now, though, is if one of them is listening and they reply, it's just going to make them look miserable.
So FM17 is almost over. We've got, 3-4 weeks left of the game before officially it's over. Now, with the game coming to an end, what's your views on FM17 in general? What do you think its strengths and weaknesses were in general? What did you like? What did you dislike about the game overall?
My first thought of FM17 is failed opportunity. For myself and for the game, because I stopped playing the game months ago now due to real world stuff. And I don't know, it felt more like FM 16.5. I mean, there wasn't anything amazing came out. I mean, the match engine still had some weird things in it. But I don't know, I mean, it wasn't really exciting, was it?
No, I mean, we've heard people like Bood and others talk about FM17, whereas the way it's been described by many now is they tend to release big releases every other year.
Yeah.
So you get FM16, then you get FM 16.5 as it's been called, and then FM 18. So FM 17 was a sort of stopgap where we had the social media brought into it, among others. But you're right, FM 17 itself, bar social media, there wasn't any real changes to it.
When you think social media is one of the major features of FM 17, you actually sit back and think, bloody hell.
When they first announced it, I was over the moon. I thought, wow, this is great. I didn't realise it was going to be quite as bad as it was, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see social. And we spoke about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if social media is gone altogether for FM18. I really wouldn't be surprised. But when they first announced it, I loved the idea of hearing the conversation from the followers of the club. I didn't realise it'd be the same sort of words every other bloody day from the same sort of person on Twitter. I thought there might have been some Twitter beef with players or whatever it may be to try and bring a story element to the game, like Joe and so-and-so have fallen out over a Twitter spam.
You just had the same three bastards, didn't you, all the way through? One was happy, one was sad, and one was pretty neutral.
Exactly. And it's just like, come on. And it got to the stage, but when the first few weeks it came out, I looked at the social media thing, and then literally after about a month of the game coming out, I honestly, hand on heart, never looked at it again.
Yeah. I think I did a couple of episodes where we looked to see what the social media thought of my signings, and it was like, let's go and check this out. He's so happy. He's disappointed. He doesn't give a fuck.
I mean,
And it was
the only
okay.
benefit I found to social media at the very start of my Luton Town save was I used to occasionally get so and so looking at side and player X. So I'd go look at that player. I think he's a pretty good player, and try and sign myself. So I did use it in that regard, you know. And but that was about. And again, after a while, I got bored of that. But that was the only benefit I saw for the whole of social media.
It wasn't a bad game though. When you do look back at FM17, it was a decent game. It's just I don't think when I look back at FM16 and then look at FM17, I don't think there was enough to warrant it being a new game, and I almost feel like I've just played the same game for 2 years.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I'm hoping that we've heard that there's going to be a new match engine. We've heard that obviously with the size of the new game, you know, we've heard that the new game file is about 3-4 times the size of the FM17. So I'm hoping there's going to be a new match engine. I mean, I said it before, I really think this could be the year we see some big changes throughout the whole of Football Manager, not just dynamics, not just medical centre scouting. I think we could see change with training and match engine, all that sort of stuff. Now, the match engine footage we saw on the initial release video looked exactly the same, maybe a little bit more colourful, but it's not even a beta video. It's literally a pre-release video, which is in crap quality, filmed on an iPad, no offense to Just Mike, and it wasn't the greatest quality. So
screw Just Mike. He insulted our
shots fired.
Videos.
Shots fired, I know.
Get a PC.
But I'm hoping that we're going to see some improvements to the match engine itself. I know we've spoken about it for years. You'd think again, because this is the same match engine to me. It looks exact same as it did 8 years ago. It looks exactly the same. So I'm hoping.
I know what you were saying. You were saying about the size of the file is 3 or 4 gig bigger. So I do hope it is. I mean, I know we now have the full Bjerkreim team in Football Managers. I mean, that's going to at least a gig.
Yeah, for your ego, maybe, yeah.
It's got all of our histories as well. It's got every appearance the players have ever made now as well.
So are you going to be in the game then, officially this year?
Yeah, well, I was in officially last year, cheeky beep.
Not that far.
So that might be a couple of gigs.
But you wouldn't leave the club then, would you? From what I've heard you say before, you know, you tried to sign yourself many times, but you kept refusing to join you.
I know, I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be the same again this year. I think Football Manager done it just to piss me off.
I'm just going to say that. They're trying to wind you up.
But I sat there laughing their heads off at it. If you're listening, I know we're on to you.
Now, we've all had a busy year on YouTube, some more than others because, well, you dropped out like a bit of a waste.
Yeah, I mean, if any of my regulars are listening, I do apologise. I dropped out a long time ago. It's about 2.5, 3 months since I played Football Manager. I played half a season with Bournemouth on my laptop, and I did so well I actually stopped playing. I'm not joking you. I stopped playing after about 30 games. I was in 5th, and I was thinking to myself, unrealistic, quit. Just stopped playing, didn't finish the season. Still on my laptop.
Now, Bournemouth aside, run us through your year on YouTube on FM17, starting from your Bram Ellison journey, or rather your Darlington, moving on to the Bram Ellison journey. Run us through a year on YouTube, why it went the way it did, why you started one save, why it ended another, and how it went down for you.
The FM17 life with the Northman. So I'll start with Darlington. I wanted to do a save with my old local team. Now they were back in the vanilla game. So I thought I'd give them a go. Started with calling it the Bram Ellison Journey, a region from the year before, mainly because I didn't want to have myself in twice in the game. So again, this year I'll have a region name. I spent 7 years at Darlington and we didn't win promotion. Oh no, we won promotion once and got relegated on the last day back down into the Conference North during my 7 years. And do you know what? I was really enjoying it, but I made the mistake of closing the youth academy in like season 4 to try to save money because I was testing how realistic you can make the game. And I would think some people might find interesting to go back and watch between seasons 3 and 6, because I cancelled the youth academy. I only had 2 players earning a wage at the club. Everybody else was on non-contract, trying to see, is it possible to run a club realistically in Football Manager and actually make some money? Because Darlington are a profitable football club in the real world. So I wanted to see, can Darlington be a profitable football club in Football Manager? Now, I was spending about 40,000 a year on wages at the club. And the next club above me was spending 130,000 a year. And the top club in the division was spending $1 million. So 40,000 a year for the whole club. No other expenses, no youth academy. We cut down everything and we were still leaking money. And I just could not get that club profitable. I literally, I mean, to be spending less than half of the next smallest club in terms of wage expenses and still be losing money in the game. I mean, shouldn't the club who was spending $1 million a year, they should have been bankrupt, because I had the second highest attendance in the division as well.
I mean,
So it wasn't
not to interrupt you, myself and Gende spoke about this on our episode. We spoke about the way that money disappears in the game. Like, I sold Sebastian Drusi for £17.5 million, only got half it back myself, yet my finances didn't increase at all. So it's like, where the hell is this other £8 million just disappeared to? Now, obviously, you would have loved to have £8 million thrown about at your club at Darlington. But you're right, finances at FM17 did appear to be massively broken.
Yeah.
They fluctuate up and down really unrealistically. 1 week you're in the red by £4 million like I would be at Ajax, and next week I'm £25 million in the black. It's like, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? Where's all this money come from? Where's it all going?
It drove me insane. I mean, as you said previously earlier on in the episode, I was only signing players who were local from 30, 40 miles maximum away. So I was only bringing in local talent players who were released by clubs 1 or 2 divisions lower than me, because players from 1 division higher, Hartlepool, were 1 division higher than me. Their youngsters, when they got released, were refusing to come to me. And I was finishing top half of the division every single year, even though I wasn't spending any wages, and we were trying everything we could to make it a profitable football club. Yet I still couldn't convince youth team players from 1 level higher to come to me. I had to go 2, 3 levels lower to Blythe Spartans and to Shulden and Bishop Auckland and bring players from them up to play for me on non-contracts. And in the 7th season, we decided I would move on. Some of our listeners, viewers, listeners, agreed that we would move the journey on. We would push on because it wasn't going anywhere. I reignited the youth academy, said, right, I want to bring it back. I told the board. 2 years later, we still weren't getting any youth recruitment through. So not sure if it was a bug, but it kind of pissed me off. So if this ever happens to you, don't cancel your youth academy to save money. Because 1, you don't save money, and 2, you just screw yourself over long term. So that was my mistake. But we then moved on to Barrow. We won promotion with Barrow. We started in League 2, so I kept them up. They looked like they were going down to the conference, kept them up. We then lost in the playoff final to go up to the League 1. But we then got offered the job at Southend in League 1. We took them to the playoffs. We then got offered the job at Bristol City in the Championship, who were mid-table. We completely flopped at Bristol City. But Brighton, who were in League 1 at the time, were looking for a manager, so I jumped ship to Brighton. All of this was in the space of about 5 years. We went through 4 clubs, which was crazy for me.
Which is realistic in real life. That's exactly what happens in real life.
I mean, we had a good run. We were very successful at Barrow, very successful at Southend, which got us the job at Bristol City. And our credentials from Barrow and Southend kept us high enough that we would get the job at Brighton. And we won League 1, then we won the Championship back-to-back, then we were mid-table in the Premier League when we reached episode 100 of the series. And at that point, the football in real life was starting to control my life more. I was out scouting teams on the nights I didn't have training, and we were around mid-table, and I really did need to focus on the real world at that point. So I had to put FM17 on hold. And after I left Darlington, I didn't really feel a connection with any of the clubs apart from Brighton. But when I was in the Premier League with them, because I jumped ship to get there, even though I took them from League One, I just didn't feel like I'd achieved anything, and I wasn't enjoying it anymore. So when I come back from my hiatus over the summer, I did a Violet Vienna save with Austria Vienna, did a year with that. It was fun, but it wasn't getting the views I thought it would in terms of my regular base of people. They admitted to me it was good, but they weren't loving it. So I stopped that, and I did a save called The Best in Madrid, where we tried to take Rio Vallecano to be the best team in Madrid. Lasted 9 months and got sacked.
I enjoyed that save. I'm not going to lie, I did enjoy that save.
I was doing so well, and then mid-season, my team just went, yeah, we're going to start losing now.
I mean, when you started your Darlington save, did you ever anticipate you'd be moving on to Brighton and Bristol City, or was your intention purely to stick with Darlington from beginning to end?
No, my plan was to do Darlington from FM17 to FM18 release, and I feel I let myself down. I feel I let my viewers down. I feel I let everybody down associated with me or the channel by leaving Darlington. I know some viewers wanted it, and I know there was this weird issue where I wasn't getting youth products through anymore.
I was one of the guys in the comment section said to you at the time I would prefer you to have stayed at Darlington, because what I've always liked about your saves is the fact that you do finish mid-table. You get some guys that they don't finish mid-table. If they finish mid-table, they'll leave and go into a bigger and better team to try and make the save look better. I like the fact that, like you did at your previous other saves on YouTube, you stayed with Darlington for all those years, trying to get them to net. Never quite got there in the end. But I completely understand, due to what was clearly a bug in the game, why you had to leave, because otherwise the game would just become, shit.
Well, I mean, I was really struggling. I mean, at the end of the day, I was taking players from 2 levels lower than me, just trying to fill my squad at points. I mean, I really did enjoy, and I've definitely learned a lot from my time at Darlington. For my FM18 save, I feel like I've learned a lot I can take into it, which is good.
In regards to FM17 again, who's been your favourite non-region player at FM17 so far? It could be one on an offline save, it could be an online save on a YouTube, a Twitch save, whatever it may be.
It has to be Dan Maguire from when I was at Darlington. He obviously came in from Blythe Spartans, 1 division lower. I signed him in season 1. He was with me throughout all the 7 seasons, mainly as a non-contracted player as well. So he had many offers to go 1 division higher. I think I actually took him with me to Barrow. But he ended up being Darlington's all-time record goal scorer by the time I'd left. I think he had it was 140 goals in the 7 years.
You took him to Barrow, because didn't he flop at Barrow?
I was thinking I took him to Barrow. Sure, it was a long time ago.
Barrow. I remember, so correct, you bought 1 or 2 players from Darlington, but I remember Dan Maguire came in.
I definitely took my favourite region to Barrow.
And he never quite really left the magic, if memory serves me correct, because I've said it before in regards to favourite YouTubers. You've always been one of my favourite because of the amount of effort you put into the game and the amount of depth you put into the game. You're not like a plug and play guy like I am.
I'm hoping this FM18, it's going to be just insane in terms of depth, and I'm hoping I can really find my foothold in terms of how my episodes are structured. In terms of what I want to get across to you guys, I'm going to really focus on being very in depth and making sure you guys see what I'm thinking and why I'm thinking it.
I mean, I love guys like Loki Doki, like a laugh and a joke. I'm not saying you're a miserable git, because you're not. But
you wouldn't be the only one who says.
But like I said, I like the fact that how much depth you go. I've said to you before, you second yellow card when it comes at end of season reviews, and you get into the statistical side of things and all that sort of stuff. I love that side of things. I've tried to do it myself many, many times for YouTube. It doesn't quite come across the same as it did for you guys, or how good it sounds for you guys. So I'm glad to you can be back for FM18. I'm also looking forward to your save once it comes out. But one thing I will say before we dive on to your upcoming FM18 save, there is a team in real life now, Paul, who copy what you do and the way you play the game. Oldham Athletic. The new caretaker manager of Oldham Athletic has said that he only wants to sign guys from the local area. So, but he's going to be looking for guys from Manchester, Wigan, all that sort of stuff. The youth academy players who are going to have to drop down a couple of divisions to get more first team football. So it seems, Paul, the caretaker manager of Oldham has been watching you play Football Manager, decided to copy your work ethic. I mean, what do you think about that?
I'm glad you've told me this, because I will be contacting my lawyers, and I will be taking Oldham Athletic to court, and I will be winning. If you wanted to copy my methods, you should have contacted me, and we could have arranged some sort of deal in terms of me coming over to be manager.
Well,
I mean, what's the point of having some sort of caretaker manager if you're just going to do what I was doing?
I thought you might have done it on Alujo, because didn't Alujo copy you of what you did?
I mean, hey. I'm going to say this now. He released that video of what he's going to be doing in FM18, and it's literally just what I released in FM16. So if anybody wants to head over there and just mention to him that he's literally just ripping the living daylights out of my plans. And if anybody comes on my channel for FM18 and says, this is exactly what Alujo does, you can stick that where the sun's not shining as well.
Block.
Release these videos saying, right, I'm only going to sign people from this region, only signing people my scouts find, only get people who advertise like this. I'm sat there thinking, bloody hell, has he been watching my episode 1 from FM16?
Now, in regards to FM18, we're going to go back to that a little bit, but in your plans for FM18 with the way you want to play it in the future.
I am going to go ham, as people say.
Are we going to see the return of Bram Ellison?
Potentially, but only because you brought this up before we started recording, and it sounds like the greatest idea ever.
Thank you very much.
Basically, FM16, when I was recording on FM Central's YouTube channel, I did an FC United Manchester series, and I had unfinished business. After 25 years, we hadn't made it to the Premier League. Shock. I'm managing them. Of course we didn't. So FM18, I've decided, first time on my channel, so it's not like I'm going over old ground, technically, I am. I'm going to do FC United Manchester, and I am so, you have no, after 3 months of not playing FM, I think it's my longest gap in like 20 years. I've got itchy feet, and I'm so excited to get back into it. So I'm going to be doing FC United Manchester. It's going to be daily videos. It's going to be detailed to hell. I'm going to be smashing it in terms of quality, hopefully, potentially, possibly. I mean,
Allegedly.
we'll see. We'll see, won't we? At least the first episode will be on fire, and then after that, maybe it'll probably turn shit. But half yous won't come back anyway, so don't worry about it.
They never do they? That's the annoying thing about it.
Bastards. If you're one of them people, you're a cunt.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button there when you do that, eh?
Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe though. So no, man, I love doing it. Do you know what? It's just one of them things where people go, I don't make videos for the people. I do it for myself. Yeah. You just upload them to a public place for the fun of it, do you? And not just store them on your computer.
Here we go. You've got a Paul rant now. I love a Paul rant. Go on, Paul.
Well, I mean, come on. I upload videos on YouTube to get more views, to get more people watching it. The more people that watch it, the better. I don't upload videos on YouTube for myself. If I uploaded videos for myself, I'm a little bit mental, because I might as well just store them in a folder on my computer.
I watch them every night.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, God, saw someone tweet it the other week. I just sat back and thought, you knobhead. Can't remember who it was, or I literally would just name them.
I'll tag him below, don't worry.
Yeah, thanks. You're a knob. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, FM18. I'm also planning some mini-series, 2 or 3 months, and they're going to be 100% live, completely stolen from Dr. Benji. No questions about it. I watched it and thought, great idea, I'm having that. So you know, like what I do with these Liverpool series.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing that with I'm not too sure who. I think in January I'm going to be doing the Bjerkran.
Really?
Mainly February, because I want to do it once the update is out, because obviously our season's finished now. So I want to do it once the update is out and they've done all the transfers, which will happen over the next couple of months. But I think people would maybe find interesting to watch me doing the same with the club I'm managing in real life. But once the full game is out, once I get settled in my FC United Manchester series, there will be 100% live save coming alongside that. Only 2 or 3 times a week because I say it's going to be maybe 1 hour episodes. So, but I'm not too sure who with. It's probably going to be maybe like second tier in Scotland or maybe second tier in France, or do you know,
I'm
that
just
kind
gonna
of
say, if it's 100% live, why not do it on Twitch?
because I can't Twitch stream because my internet's like
Okay.
useless.
Okay.
Because I'll be uploading the videos from work just to save the upload usage. I'll be recording them and then taking them on a USB or something
Go
to
to
work.
the library and sit in the library and doing it.
Basically, I mean, yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, why didn't I think of that? The library's only a
And the
couple of
brains in the
kilometers away.
outfit. Bring your
Thanks,
Brad
man.
Medicine. Upload in the library. I'm telling you.
During beta and during the first few weeks, I've got a lot of experiments and guides coming. During beta, I'm going to be doing a save as well. I'm thinking of doing it with Juventus, you know. I'm never a big club, and I kind of fancy trying to get Booth on that Champions League win.
I think
myself.
It's a popular one. I've seen a few guys. I know Fatman Dupes just do at the moment on Twitch with Juventus trying to again win the Champions League with Buffon.
Yeah.
That's a popular.
I think it might be interesting. I mean, I was going to go PSG, because they thought doing Neymar, Mbappe, and stuff. I mean, it's only a 2-week save.
And Cavani as well.
Yeah, but then also, I mean, I could bring the 100% live save thing during Twitch, just on during Twitch, bloody hell, during beta, because at the end of the day, people want to see as much as they can of the game. So it's a great time to bring that kind of thing, isn't it? So that's something I can think about as well. Basically, I'm doing FC United Manchester, and apart from that, I've got no idea what I'm doing.
You're going to wing it to see what happens.
The Northman on YouTube, subscribe and just watch some guy turn up and basically just put something out.
What's some virtual reality guy, Bram Ellison?
I've been vlogging as well, by the way.
When did you do that? I've not seen that yet. When was that?
Oh no, it's I started on Thursday, so it's going to be out on next Friday. It'll be like the first week. It's just going to be like a weekly vlog. It's just an excuse to get me out the house.
Well, I've said to you before, I really enjoyed the vlog you did when you. I know you can't do it so much now, but when you did that vlog at your football club, where you did a couple of episodes, I mean, they were really, really good. You know, seeing you sit down at your kitchen table, picking the teams and whatnot, and putting the bibs out in the dressing room. I would love to see, even if it's not just you, I'm surprised we don't get more of that on YouTube. You know,
me too, actually.
Not necessarily Sunday management, even like a Ryman League manager doing some sort of vlog where he does that, because I think that sort of stuff would go down well, which is why I enjoyed yours so much. Because
I've got some plans for next year. I have got some plans, but it involves having to pay somebody to follow me with the camera. So. Patreon.
Give your kids the camera.
You're joking, and do you know what, right? Part of my vlog today was me just like us getting ready to go out. And what I thought was I'd do like a bit of music as we do the walk, and it cuts to bits and stuff, and then it cuts to me making a coffee before reading that Red Rebels book. So I got my oldest son to hold the camera as I'm making the coffee. My God, he randomly started pointing out the window and pointing up at the roof. He was holding it. He never twisted his arms or anything, but he was moving his body everywhere, looking around, and he didn't realise his hands were following him. So, yeah, I'm not doing that. I think I'm going to pay one of the juniors from our club during matches to basically follow the team with the camera. Not just me. It's going to be like a vlog about the team. Don't pay him.
Just say, look, if you do, you can train with the first team. That's what you've got to do. Just say you can train with the first team. That's all he needs.
Might be a good idea, exactly. But I'll try to bring something next year.
That'd be great. It'd be great.
I've already been confirmed. I'm definitely managing them next year. So 3rd year now.
I mean, how does that work? I mean, do you have a rolling contract? Do you have like a year-by-year contract?
Well, technically, it's a 2-year contract, but there was no confirmation I was going to be there next year. Oh, really? They'd never actually confirmed it, even though they'd never said that. When I spoke to them a few months ago, they said there's no reason why we wouldn't want you next year. But then they never said you're definitely our manager next year. But after the last game of the season, they said you're definitely here next year, aren't you? They were confirmed with me that I'm not leaving them, and I was like, yeah. I've been waiting for you to confirm with me. So I know that I've heard rumours a couple of clubs 1 level high were interested in me, but I've no interest in moving because I get paid a decent wage to do a job I love. So,
are you looking at the long-term plans here in terms of you want to really move this club on to the next level, or are you thinking more in regards to the fact that the club's been so loyal to you, you want to repay that faith and stay at the club a little bit longer? What's your
um,
long-term ambitions for the club of yourself?
long-term ambitions for myself is to be managing at the highest level. Short-term ambition is to develop myself. I've learned so much in this second year. We finished mid-table. Season's done now. Finished yesterday. I took the camera to watch a game because we'd already finished the season where a few teams were still playing the last game yesterday. So we went to watch one of them yesterday with me and my youngest son. And I've learned so much and I've realised so many mistakes that I made this year. So I'm happy to stay where I am for now because I feel like I can develop because I've got so much freedom. Only today we were talking about the possibility of a new stand being built on the side. And as you said about stadium input, I was discussing with him where I thought it should be, how big I thought it should be, and what facilities should be inside it. So in terms of the long-term future of the club, honestly, I don't know. Being truthful with you, it's very hard to attract people to travel to our village because we're 20 kilometres, about 15, 16 miles away from the next biggest town. And both of them towns have clubs 3 or 4 levels higher who have B teams in and around our division. So
wow.
why travel to us when they can play for a B team in their own town, which is in the same level?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's pointless. So we are literally stuck with what we've got from our local town for now. But I do believe we've got the core group and we've got some youngsters coming through. So 2 or 3 years, we could maybe go up 1 or 2 levels. But then if we go up 2 levels, that's when we really do need to be attracting people from these nearby towns to have any chance of going 3 levels higher than we are now.
When was new season start? January, did you say?
Pre-season training is going to start on the 3rd of January. We've finished now, so the guys have 3 months off nearly. The 3rd of January we start pre-season. The season will start the middle of April.
Looking forward to it, or are you nervous, apprehensive?
Ask me in a few months because one of our local rivals, who is only 12 kilometres away, to another village-type club, they've just been relegated to the division below. So I'm hoping I can go and poach 2 or 3 of their better players.
I like it. That'd be a good vlog.
And a lot of my team knows a lot of the players in that team. So that gives a lot more potential of that due to player power, due to player communication.
And dynamics.
Dynamics. Do you know what? It really, really does. So I'm really excited to see if we can, even if we can get 1 or 2 fresh faces in for next year. We've got 7 players from our youth team who were old enough to play next year as well. A couple of them are very good talents. So the future is looking okay. The future is definitely progressing when you look back to the state of the club only 2 years ago. The dramatic increase in terms of what we've done at the club since I come in is huge. So we can't help but be proud of what we've done.
Have I heard of that bit of a wonder kid you've got? A little 14, 15-year-old lad or something?
15-year-old Joachim, yeah. He got his first goal as well a few weeks ago, which was a fantastic boost for him. And we've potentially got another one coming through who's old enough to play next year. He's already getting sniffed around though, the one who's old enough next year.
Yeah.
Because our under-14s have just won a division which included Eggerson's under-14s. Now Eggerson are in the 3rd tier in Norway. Their under-14s finished below our under-14s.
Very nice. And
we also finished above the likes of Brina, who again 3rd tier. Our under-13s finished above Sanez, who are in the 2nd tier. So we've got some fantastic youth players coming through, but the challenge now is holding on to them.
The future's bright then for Bjerkrum.
Yeah, the future's bright. The future's Bjerkrum.
Well, there we go, boys and girls. Another episode of Bentley's over and done with, an absolute belter, talking to a real-life football manager. hearing about how the game coincides with real life and if it does coincide at all. So thank you for coming on, dude. It's been much appreciated. If you want to say goodbyes, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me on. Really do appreciate it. And thank you to anyone who's tuned in and listened. And if you're still listening now, you are very hardcore.
If you are still listening, write down the word yellow below so I know you're still here. There you go, new thing for you. Without any Freddie do, which I know Paul hates me saying.
Hate that line.
Without any Freddie do, I'm going to bid you adieu. But don't forget, before we go...
Stop that
say
as well.
Say it, Paul. Say it.
No. Goodbye.
Diolch.